Hey Capricorn, Madeline here to give you your astrological report for May 2025, and I will go ahead and share the screen and slowly getting to all the signs here. Um, so the big deal is this month is your ruling planet is Saturn, and Saturn is going to be shifting into the sign of Aries. So you're going to feel that energy shift stronger than everybody. And Aries Saturn is not an easy energy because Aries is the energy that likes to go quickly, and Saturn is the energy that likes to slow down. So there's this feeling of like, oh, I want to go and get this done and go for it. But then Saturn saying, nope, 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 you got to stay chill, slow down. There's things you got to sort out first. So Saturn moving into your fourth house is going to have you taking on some sort of big responsibility around where you're living, perhaps restructuring your living situation. If you're living in a home, perhaps you are. I know somebody who just had Saturn in their fourth and they started building additions to their property, um, going through all of that planning and permitting and all of that kind of thing. The other thing with Saturn in your fourth, you could be feeling overwhelmed and burdened by your home and feeling like it has so much to do. There's so much work to be done on it, and it feels like it's overwhelming, and there's pressure to do work on it. Perhaps there's struggle in paying the mortgage, and you're going through the need to perhaps sell the house. But whatever is happening with Saturn in your fourth house, it is trying to redirect you to your true destiny, to your, shall we say, longer term stability. Basically, whatever has to happen with Saturn in your fourth is lining you up and having you have to sort of deal with things and take responsibilities around your property and your real estate or where you live. You have to take on more responsibility, more burdens, but that is in order to create a stable future. Because when Saturn comes to the bottom of the chart, it's stabilizing you so that when it rises to the top, you have a firm foundation for your career house. In fact, a strong fourth house creates a very stable 10th house. In fact, it stabilizes your entire chart. So, fourth house Saturn is stabilizing your entire life. And also, perhaps heavy situations with your family and your mother, will continue karmic clearing type of energies around home and family can be stressful, heavy. But again, this is karmic, and there is some sort of karmic. Parents, mothers, and children have a lot of karma together. So if you have Saturn there, you're really facing some karma, looking at yourself. Remember, we cause everything. So if we have a karmic challenge with a parent or a child, we're going to really look at that. And the more we claim responsibility for the struggle, the less karma we experience, or the less retribution or challenges around that. But let's start with the beginning of the month. The sun is in your fifth house, which is fun, creative, friendships. And with Taurus there, it's possible and you had a new moon there at the end of April, there could be a new fledgling friendship, a new romantic partnership comes in, and it has an abundant, perhaps collaborative, fun, joint, creative project or entrepreneurial venture. It can't just be an entrepreneurial venture, starts to sort of bud and new beginnings around that. But perhaps a new relationship. We'll look at the rest of the chart and see what's going on. And again, this is just a general for your sign for the month of May. You really want a individual reading from someone, anyone, but I, of course, can do it too, and really see how it is affecting your individual planets, because you're going to feel that if you have planets in, for instance, in your fifth house, you'll feel it extra strong. But anyway, these are just general readings. So, with the sun in your fifth, there's a focus on having a good time, socializing, being with friends, and perhaps initiating new creative projects and ventures, co-collaboratives, and perhaps with a true romantic partner. Now, with the sun moving into your sixth house after the mid-month, by the way, Venus will come out of shadow too mid-month. So things are going to be feeling like they're moving forward in your living situation. Perhaps a relationship is coming in and you move in with one, or you meet a person in your home territory, or at home or where you're living in the neighborhood, or you move in with someone. I may have already said that, or you just beautify your home. Or you're meeting Venus in the fourth can often be just a good time at home with your person. So anyway, there's energy, a lot of energy in your fourth house. So sort of an ideal living situation. You're seeking an ideal living situation. And so, with the sun moving into your sixth house, there's a lot of focus on day-to-day routines, working hard, being busy, being of service. Perhaps with this venture that you initiated on the new moon, you now take it into selling, promoting, and step up to being motivated to be of service around this new beginning, bring it out more into the community. And also, it changes your day-to-day routine. It becomes more a part of your day-to-day routine, or that new beginning or that new relationship literally changes your day-to-day routine when the sun and Mercury move into your sixth. So the sun's going to move into your sixth at the end of the month, but before that, it moves into your fifth house. So again, there's the sun and Mercury there being busy, communicating, socializing, meeting friends. It's kind of fun that's a fun time. Don't forget that new moon was exalted. So it would be very auspicious and beneficial, perhaps very romantic even, because it's ruled by Venus. And if you're not seeing any big results there yet, be patient because Venus was conjoining Saturn and it is not out of shadow yet. So it still calls for a little patience. Then we've got Mars in your eighth house, which is joint resources, is passion, it's the house of physical intimacy. So perhaps this relationship has become physical now. Or you are taking a lot of energy and inspired energy to either find some sort of resources, outside resources to fund a creative project, or to refinance your property, or sell a property, or get a second, or perhaps you've got Saturn in your fourth and Venus in your moving into your fourth. You're going to buy a property and construct and build construction, so you need a loan to do that with. Um, but or an inheritance comes in. Um, but Mars there in your eighth is giving you a lot of drive and a lot of initiative to join resources, perhaps with your mate, and inspired to really take your money issues, sort of grab it by the horns and really make it deal with it for the entire time that Mars is there, and to really face some financial debt, maybe pay off a debt and really do what you can to pay that off. Or you start a debt, you get a credit card and you start a debt and you finance something on it that can help you move forward in other areas of your chart. And when planets are in our eighth house, it is usually, depending on the transit in your chart, but it usually is very auspicious to take out loans and debts, because taking risks in finances is shows that you have faith in the universe and faith in abundance. And so it rewards you. That's your belief. That's what you materialize. So for Jupiter in your sixth house, again, causing you to really face some health issues, because when Jupiter goes up into the top of the chart, it wants you healthy in order to really step up to your dharma. And it really needs you to focus on shifting your day-to-day routine, quitting habits, expanding the good habits, facing, making changes in your diet, or really expanding your calling and to be of service in some way and being busy at it and restructuring your life again around this new humanitarian or service-oriented drive or work. And then with Saturn in your third, it would have been a heavy time in communication and with short distance traveling. And now it's moving into your your fourth. That is an energy of really, shall we say, I already explained Saturn in the fourth. So now we're going to feel that shift the strongest when it makes that change. And so we're really seeing a shift in the energies from that, I would say, heavy energies around communication, around people that are around you, probably shifting and changing your local situation and energy. I know a Capricorn rising who will have had some problems with siblings during that period. So during Saturn in the third. So now it goes into your fourth. So maybe you really change your environment, who you're around on a day to day, and you restructure your life and your living situation, and you commit to a new plan or a new place to live, basically. So then I'm not going to talk about the external planets because I'll talk about those as we go, but Pluto is stationing because they're going to go in July. So next report, I'll talk more about that. but we do have Pluto going retrograde in the in your second house. So you're really dealing with financial karmic issues and healing fear-based money attachment issues. So you're going to have a big transformation when Pluto leaves that second house. You'll be completely transformed around your finances, where you have a release of attachment and fear-based energy around your finances. You feel more empowered about your money. You've cleared karma. You have a positive relationship with money. And that's being transformed when it goes in retrograde. You're really dealing with some root causes of where these fear-based issues around money can come in that cause you to take on karmic jobs or non-dharmic things for money, which can have, in other words, things that aren't your true calling or purpose, which can happen for periods and time to time. We have to do that. But the drive behind that fear, the fear of there no being universal support is going to transform into trust and universal support by the end of that. And with the North Node in your third house in Pisces, there's continued focus, or shall we say, we could call it karma clearing around siblings, cousins, relatives, people that are around you. There's going to be still that third house focus where you're taking a lot of spiritual growth, perhaps educating yourself on spirituality, expanding your knowledge around spirituality, and perhaps taking a more spiritual approach to some of the problems that are appearing in your community through communication. Third house is often communication, or stepping into your like a calling or a dharmic calling to be on media, to start a social media platform, or to write something, but to somehow take on a role in expanding your life through knowledge, information, and communication, and it taking you on a spiritual upgrade. Or just that this is it, you wake up to some sort of calling that fills your soul when the North Node is there and you want to take it on like a small business or writing project or a media project. And then with the full moon in your 11th house, it's in Scorpio. You may have some fallings out with tribe groups that are not your true tribe, or it becomes very clear um, that this, that there, you could say that some sort of venture or some sort of humanitarian venture isn't really going where you want it to go, or it's not really providing the financial, some sort of connection is not providing you the financial promises or something, but there's a revelation and then there's a transformational reaction to it where you sort of perhaps are disappointed and there could be crisis around this, but then you realize that you're purging out a fear attachment issue around this, and that you just had an attachment to how it's all supposed to look. These full moons in Scorpio, we release, we transform, and then suddenly we attract the right, we're in the better energy, so that situation either improves or we attract a better group and better the right supportive, shall we say, tribe, network. It could be in the community even. It could be community situation out in the community. You have a fallout with someone in the community, but then you realize the tribe is still connected with you or something like that. But there's a breakthrough and a transformation where you realize you can let go and not be so attached to these situations and you'll be fine. It's just through that moment that it can be quite challenging. But in the end, you're liberated and you feel like you're born again because it's death and rebirth, Scorpio energy. And then with the new moon in your sixth house, there's that new beginning in some sort of service or new beginning around your day-to-day routine, or a new beginning in how you're going to because Gemini would be increased knowledge of, so it's a service house and you're increasing with Gemini there knowledge of how to be of service. Jupiter is still there for the entire month, so you're meeting with Jupiter and kind of expanding how you're going to work, your day-to-day routine projects that you're focused on, that now start to really expand. There's a new beginning there with that new moon, and it could involve media, getting out on media with your service, writing about it more, connecting with people, talking, communicating with a new moon Gemini, meeting new people that are supportive of your venture. And so yeah, that's the rough look at at May for Capricorn. And I hope that is helpful. And do feel free to ask questions. And if you'd like a personal reading, do feel free to contact me. And have a wonderful day. Namaste.